So you may have noticed that I've kind of dropped off from making a lot of videos in response to Venom Fang X. Um, Part of the reason for this is because, like I said in the last video where I explicitly addressed things that he said, he repeats himself a lot. And this realization that he will just repeat the same arguments despite the YouTube community having refuted them. Uh, this makes me realize why people like Thunderfoot or the Amazing Atheist just start ignoring him, because basically you've already covered everything that he uses and he just pretty much won't listen to you, and he'll just keep repeating the same arguments. With that said, I will probably still post some replies to things that he says just because I kind of feel like it's a public service. Like, someone needs to point out the BS. Hopefully I'll come up with some kind of system to be able to do it quickly since he repeats himself a lot. I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But in the meantime, he's repeating himself so much that I'm going to lay off for a while and focus on an issue that I think is important, that has risen as an issue of importance to me, and that is establishing how I became an atheist. I was a born-again Christian for 15 years before becoming an atheist, and I think that one of the biggest problems that Christians have when they are seeing some atheist who claimed to previously be a Christian, they just do not believe it. They do not believe that this person was ever sincerely a Christian. They don't believe that this person really tried to believe in God and really did the right things to try to believe in God. They're just not convinced. And I can think of some stories that they may not have heard from my own experience that might explain in a little more detail how this works, how one becomes an atheist after being a Christian. I don't think anyone's really laid out in huge detail how that's happened here on YouTube, or if they have, I'm not aware of the video. On the same token, though, I think the more experiences we have out there, the better. It creates a comprehensive kind of fabric of experiences from which Christians can see that there are other Christians who were genuine but found something that caused them to doubt their faith. And I'll have to ask my atheist viewers to excuse me if they are not interested in this, because I know that a lot of people subscribe because they like to see me tear into people like Venom Fang X, and that is important, and I will continue doing that. But so if these videos aren't for you, feel free to ignore them. Or if you're an atheist and you're interested in this kind of thing, like how did a born-again Christian become an atheist, feel free to watch. So I plan on splitting it into three main parts. The first one is establishing how I was a Christian, for sure. I am hoping that, given the evidence, that the story that I give, Christians won't doubt my sincerity, like that I really was a Christian. So that's the first part I want to establish, because that's the biggest part that I think that Christians just cannot believe. They cannot believe that these people were real Christians. Then the second part will go into how exactly the deconversion happened mentally for me. I will try to give the best account I can of this. I feel like this is another thing that doesn't receive enough attention is how exactly does it happen in a person's mind? How do they start to become an atheist from being a Christian? And then the final segment I plan, we'll see if all of these plans actually pan out. But the final and third segment I plan is how I live now and how my needs as a person are fulfilled now in an even greater way, really, than they were when I was a Christian. And hopefully I'll be able to get that part about my genuine Christianity out soon. And again, atheist, I apologize if this seems sappy. It might, because I'm really empathizing with Christians here. I really understand how it feels to be a Christian and what kind of values are important to you. But I'm really hoping that empathy helps bridge some gaps. We'll see.